In a cozy, upscale restaurant in the heart of a bustling city, a young woman named Jasmine entered with a warm smile. She was dressed in a stylish yet professional outfit, her curly hair neatly framing her face. Jasmine had just received a promotion at work, and she wanted to celebrate by treating herself to a fine dining experience. The aroma of freshly prepared dishes filled the air as she made her way to an empty table. The restaurant was beautifully decorated with dim lighting and elegant furniture, creating an inviting atmosphere. She felt at ease until she noticed the way some of the staff were looking at her. A tall waiter named Michael, who had been working at the restaurant for years, caught sight of Jasmine and immediately frowned. He whispered something to another waiter before rolling his eyes and making his way toward her table. His expression was cold, his posture rigid. "Good evening, miss. Can I help you?" he asked flatly. Jasmine smiled, trying not to let his demeanor bother her. "Yes, I'd like to see the menu, please." Michael hesitated, his eyes scanning her up and down. "Are you sure you're in the right place? This restaurant is quite expensive." Jasmine's smile faltered. She had experienced subtle racism before, but it never ceased to sting. Keeping her composure, she nodded. "I'm aware of the prices. I'd still like to see the menu." Michael sighed dramatically and handed her the menu, but when she tried to order, he smirked and shook his head. "Actually, we're full tonight. No tables available." Jasmine glanced around the half-empty restaurant. "But I'm already sitting at a table." Michael shrugged. "Sorry, restaurant policy. I can't serve you." Jasmine felt a lump form in her throat. A part of her wanted to argue, but another part of her was simply exhausted. She had worked hard for everything she had. And yet, moments like these reminded her that some people would always judge her by the color of her skin rather than her character. She took a deep breath, stood up, and said, "I'll just take my business elsewhere." As she turned to leave, another voice interrupted. "Excuse me, is there a problem here?" Jasmine looked up to see an older gentleman in an impeccably tailored suit. He had an air of authority, and his sharp eyes flicked between her and Michael. Michael stammered, "No, sir. I was just informing this lady that we're full." The man crossed his arms. "Interesting, because I own this restaurant, and I can clearly see that we have available tables." Michael's face turned pale. The restaurant owner turned to Jasmine. "Miss, I deeply apologize. Please allow me to personally serve you tonight. Your meal will be on the house." Jasmine was stunned but grateful. "Thank you, but I don't want special treatment. I just want to be treated like any other customer." The owner smiled warmly. "And that is exactly what you deserve." He then turned to Michael, his expression hardening. "As for you, Michael, I've warned you before about treating customers unfairly. This will be your last shift here. Pack your things and leave." Michael's mouth opened in shock. "Wait! No, please! I need this job." The owner shook his head. "You should have thought about that before deciding that a paying customer was beneath you. Karma has a way of catching up with people." Jasmine sat down, feeling a mix of emotions, relief, sadness, and triumph. As she enjoyed her meal, she realized that moments like these were reminders that there were still good people in the world willing to stand up for what was right. Michael learned a harsh lesson that night. As he walked out of the restaurant, unemployed and humiliated, he couldn't help but regret his actions. He had let his prejudices cost him everything. And karma, as always, had the final say. Jasmine finished her meal, tipped generously, and left the restaurant with her head held high, knowing that dignity and kindness would always outweigh ignorance and hate.